I wanted to get another video out there. It's me, Paisley. This is kind of going to be of like just like a bunch of different information type video about epilepsy or seizures. I'm just going to throw this out there. Like a lot of times when I say epilepsies, I do also mean the people with seizures, because not everybody who has seizures has epilepsy. And that's something that's like an ongoing battle I've noticed with a lot of groups, with seizure groups and epileptic groups, and people, too many times people try to like find the difference. And I mean, the one difference is epilepsy you're born with, and then people who are just having seizures, that is built on by trauma and PTSD, stuff like that. Car accidents can cause seizures, and if you, it's really difficult, but basically you were born with epilepsy. And then the other people who have seizures, it's from trauma type thing. But they're now actually trying to classify it as if anybody who has multiple seizures, multiple a week, or is a continuous thing, they're trying to say is epilepsy. So I think that is more accurate than one's born, one's not, because I think anybody who continuously has seizures has epilepsy. So that's what I mean by epilepsy, is just seizures in general is epilepsy to me. But here's like, I have to have a little notepad, otherwise my brain's so scattered. Thank you, epilepsy, right? Yeah, my last video, I don't know if people watched my introduction video or not, but it's my first actual video, and I went to the hospital last night because I went to a seizure. My boyfriend said it was like, I don't know, like he doesn't really know how long I was in it, but from his knowledge, from when he noticed I was in a seizure until I came out of it, it was like 30-35 minutes or so. But he said he wasn't really paying attention, watching TV type thing, so he said it could have been like 45 minutes to an hour, he doesn't know. But I was, he said I was having an absent seizure to where I freeze up, and it just like I'm staring off, and I just can't move, my jaw clenches, and he said I was like that for a bit. He got me down to my side, and I started drooling a lot. That's the big thing of people with seizures, is they drool. He said that after a while, because after 10 minutes is when someone's in a seizure longer than 10 minutes, they've successfully hit brain damage. So anything longer than that just is a continuous brain damage type thing. And so I was in it so long that when I came out of it, like, I still kind of feel like it, but it's not as intense. Like last night when I came out of it was so intense that I feel like there was like tunnels in my brain, like my brain was melting and burnt, and there was just tunnels going through, and it just hurt. So I hit brain damage. But here are just like some things that that I've noticed that they don't really tell you about seizures. Like, the one thing I've noticed is that medical staff, EMTs, nurses, hospitals, stuff like that, they're not really knowledgeable on seizures. Like, for the most part, they believe if you didn't pee or poop yourself, you didn't have a seizure. And my stepdad is epileptic as well, and he was having 50 seizures a day. Now, with those 50 seizures a day, he never once peed his pants or pooped himself. So that is actually false, and that severely irritates me because I've never done that myself. And I mean, now it is possible with, the muscles all contracting and convulsing for you to lose, bladder control. But that hasn't happened to me. I don't know if it's because I just don't have to go to the bathroom during the times I've gone to a seizure, or if it's just not my type of seizure. But your eyes don't always roll in the back of your head. Mine does sometimes. Sometimes my eyes are open and my eyes will follow movement. I've been told that I was faking seizures because I would follow movement during a seizure. And I'm definitely in a seizure, but I've been accused of faking it because of that. I get accused of faking a seizure because, like last night, when I was coming out of my seizure, my jaw was clenched shut still, and I couldn't open my mouth and talk, and I was in the triage, and I was just, like, realizing what was going on, and the only thing I could do was blink. So every time she would say something, I would blink, trying to respond or show that there was a response there, that I am okay. And then she turned out and like turned to my boyfriend and was like, "See, well, she's fine because she's actually able to blink. Like she's consciously blinking." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm consciously blinking because I can't speak. My mouth was clenched shut. There was nothing I could do. I couldn't move. I was slunched over. I wasn't able to move yet. I was still just able to look and hear, and that was it." So, and there, that's, where I was, you can respond during some seizures. Like there are some seizures to where I'm conscious, I can respond. It's a very slow response, very heavy breathing response, very quiet whispering response, but I'm able to respond in between seizures or while during seizure, depending on the seizure. There are lots of times I'm not conscious and lots of times I don't remember anything, but there are times that I am conscious and I can respond, and those are the times also where people are like, "Oh, you're faking it." Like, no. There's so many different type of seizures. There's different classifications, like they got several classifications of seizures, and then inside of those classifications there's so many. There are so many different seizures out there that there's it's to the point where I don't feel like if someone's having a seizure where they have the right, especially like me, I have a bunch of seizures, different kinds of seizures, and each seizure that I have is it's not a promise to stay in the same seizure. I go through different seizures during one seizure session. So I believe that there should be scans done and more things done. Like when I went to the hospital last night, the only thing they did is draw my blood. That is all they did, and then they sent me home and looked at my boyfriend. Like as soon as they found out that I have seizures all the time, that I'm epileptic, and they found out I have 3 seizures, at least 3 seizures a week, at least. I mean, with my absent seizures, a lot of times you can't even tell when I'm going into a seizure, so we can only go by with the ones where I'm actually visually, or, visually, because there's a lot of times that I feel funky throughout the day, but I have no one around, and, like, with me not accepting that I was epileptic until, like, I mean, it's hard to accept. I mean, obviously I knew I was epileptic, I'm having seizures, but accepting the fact that you live your life differently is the biggest thing, and a support group is like the biggest thing for epileptics, because it's kind of like people with epilepsy are forgotten in a way. Like, I mean, there's carnivals, they have the strobe lights, and it's a public event that epileptics can't attend. There's a lot of things like that where, like, it's public events, but epileptics can't attend because of the fact that there's strobe lights or, certain sounds. Like, there's so many triggers, and it's like we're forgotten because, like, I can't get a job. I can't leave my house, really. I'm always stuck at my house. My main friend is my service dog and my boyfriend. I can't drive because of the fact, and because I went to the hospital last night, I'm definitely not allowed to drive because it's on paperwork that I had a seizure. Not like I drove anyways. I've never had a license because I was born with epilepsy and I've had seizures since I was in elementary. We didn't find out I was having seizures since elementary until I got older, because then when I realized, when I talked to my neurologist with all that I had blackout spells, that I was having seizures a lot longer than I thought. Now the downfall uh, of having seizures is you get brain damage. And like I mentioned, I got brain damage last night. It's not the first time I've reached brain damage. Probably won't be the last, since my seizures are half of them are treatable to keep them under control, and the other half aren't. And that's just where they're going to have to figure out of where my seizures are coming from, if they're able to do brain surgery to either get rid of or reduce the amount of seizures I have. Is where I'm at now, since I'm just now accepting things. I'm going back on my medication. Now with me going back on my medication, that sucks for me, but I guess great for the viewers, I guess. They can actually see a seizure. And now when I have those videos, in the beginning of the videos, I'm going to put a warning thing. So every time, any video that I have that has a warning thing in it, does mean I'm in a seizure. Sometimes it's, it all depends how it works. I've requested for my boyfriend to record those for me, so then people can see what it looks like of different kinds of seizures, since I do experience different kinds throughout the seizure. That will be interesting for people to see, because some people just have one kind of seizure, or they'll have like 4, but they only go through them one at a time. I'm not one of them. I'm the one who can go through them all the time. Sometimes I'm stuck in one type of seizure, like sometimes I'm in an absent seizure, and I'm in that, for a long time. Absent seizures usually last a few seconds at a time. Mine apparently can last up to 35, 45 minutes, maybe an hour long at times, but normally they're just a few seconds long. But also, another thing, I'm going to be saying this a lot in my videos, and I can't stress this enough. Not, how do I word this? No seizure is worse than another seizure. Like, somebody who's having absent seizures, micro seizures, that's split seconds, you can't say that is not worse, or that is easier than what I go through with my different type of seizures, even though I do have absent seizures. But you can't say that those are easier than the other, because the brain damage is still the same. Like, somebody who's having absent seizures, let's say they're having 50 absent seizures in a minute, so that's a second, long seizure, but 10, that's a second long seizure, but there's so many going on that all of a sudden that person reached brain damage, just like the person who had the seizure for 45 minutes long, blah, blah, blah. Now, it's not the same brain damage, no, but it is still brain damage. It still affects them the same. They still have the same issues, just it was different. But no seizure is worse than the other, none is easier than the other, and too many people like to compare themselves to each other. I've noticed, like, it's all hard on all of us, and all epileptics, and we all stress as if we're alone because we feel alone. And a lot of time I've noticed where people are trying to support, they're trying to be like, oh, your life could be worse because they have it worse, or blah, blah, blah. No, what happens to people during their seizures can make it feel worse. There could be the person who doesn't ever hurt themselves during a seizure, and the person who hurts themselves during all of these seizures feel like they're like, oh my god, I have it bad, I've got this, I got that, and little does that person know that the person who doesn't actually hurt themselves during a seizure is got scar tissue completely all over, to where they can never be cured from it, while the person who hurts themselves during a seizure, their brain's not scarred. So there's a chance where it can be controlled, or, quote, cured. There's no cure for it yet, but being more controlled, because where there's people who can actually live their life normally again, because they're able to control it. Or some people, it just, I guess, goes away. They say there's no cure, and they say that at any time that person can go back to having seizures, but I've seen people go their entire life, like they'll go spend 20 years having a seizure, and all of a sudden they stopped. The rest of their life they won't have gone into a seizure. So epilepsy is definitely one of those things where they need more research for it, because I do believe there is a cure. I do believe that some people, quote unquote, outgrow it, they say, because some people do. This is a really long video, so I'm going to end this video. Sorry it was so long. Just there's a lot of things that I'm trying to get out there. I'm going to try to make videos daily if I can, if not, but I'm going to try to do the best I can to put as much videos for people, because I do know that people who are trying to support other people, with epilepsy, or someone who just found out they have epilepsy, they do a lot of research. They're trying to reach out and look at things and try to see what their life's going to be. And since it can happen at any point in your life, so I'm going to try to keep people updated on it. I'm going to try to get as much going on. I'm going to be starting my new medication here soon. We're going to be waiting until this trip. We're going to be tomorrow. We're going to be going to Oklahoma. It's not 100% chance, or I'm not 100% sure if I'm going yet. It all depends, since I do not like having seizures like around children. His niece might be going. We're not 100% sure yet, and if she is, I'm not going to be going due to its Oklahoma's long trip from where I'm at. I mean, it's not too long, but it's long enough to cause issues for me. I have seizures during motion. So, like, car rides, too long of car rides can put me into seizure, and I don't like little kids. I don't like kids seeing seizures whatsoever. Like, I have children myself, and they've seen me in seizures, and it terrifies them. Like, my oldest, who's turning 4 this year, if I go into a seizure and she sees it, she runs into her room and hides in her bed until I go in and tell her I'm okay. Or she cries and screams for me, and so it's really tough on kids, and I just don't like them around it when I'm in a seizure. So any way I can to avoid it, I will, even if that means I'm stuck being left at home on a nice trip. It's the life of epileptic. We give up a lot of things to keep ourselves safe and other people safe, because we are reliability in public. And that's something that I find wrong, is that because we have seizures, that when we go in public, if we go into a seizure, we are reliability. And to keep ourselves from being a reliability of getting in trouble in public, it actually costs a lot of money. A lot of money that most people don't have. A lot of money that most people need insurance for, and insurance is expensive. It's just an ongoing thing, and we just need to get this awareness up. I know I just started videos, but like I said, I can't get a job, so I'm kind of hoping these videos will kind of also help with that as well. So I guess comment, subscribe, whatever, and definitely comment what you want to know. I guess comment what you think about these videos, and if you like them. I guess say anything you want. I guess keep it clean, supportive. We don't need any bashing on anything like this, so just keep it clean on that. That's the only thing I'll ask. I will actually personally remove any negative comments on any of my videos, only because we don't need that. Eva's getting comfortable. You say bye, Eva? Yeah, no, she said, no, she don't say bye. Alright, see you in the next video.